Welcome to our channel, where we delve into the heart of politics. Today, we're setting our sights on the Democratic Party. We'll be exploring their core values and purposes, tracing their evolution from their early years up to the present day. If you're intrigued by the intricate tapestry of politics, we invite you to subscribe to our channel for thoughtful, in-depth analysis. Stay tuned as we unravel the journey of the Democratic Party's core values and purposes. The Democratic Party, with its roots dating back to 1792, has a rich history. This history begins with Thomas Jefferson and James Madison, who championed a political cause that would later evolve into the Democratic Party. Their advocacy for agrarianism, a political philosophy that values rural society as superior to urban one, was a key value of the party in its early years. The party's beginnings were forged in the crucible of a young America, where the agrarian society was the backbone of the economy. The Democratic Party advocated for the rights of farmers and championed policies that would support the agrarian lifestyle. This agrarian focus was not just about economics, but also about a way of life that the party believed was vital to the country's identity and success. Alongside agrarianism, the early Democratic Party was characterized by its opposition to a strong national government. The party believed in the importance of states' rights and the danger of a too powerful central government. The party's leaders feared that a strong national government could become tyrannical and infringe upon the rights of individual states. This belief in states' rights has been a recurring theme throughout the party's history, although its interpretation and application have evolved over time. The early Democratic Party was also unique in its commitment to democracy. It was the first political party to hold a national convention to nominate its presidential candidate, a practice that is now a staple of American politics. This commitment to democratic processes and the involvement of ordinary citizens in political decision-making has remained a core value of the party. The early years of the Democratic Party laid the groundwork for the party's evolution. From its beginnings as a champion of agrarianism and states' rights to its pioneering use of democratic processes, the Democratic Party's early years were a formative period that shaped the party's identity and values. As the party evolved, it retained its commitment to these core values while also adapting to the changing needs and circumstances of the country. As we move into the middle years of the Democratic Party, we see a shift in focus. This was a transformative period marked by a significant evolution in the party's core values. In the early years of this era, the Democratic Party stood for the expansion of slavery, a stance that was a stark departure from the party's initial values of equality and personal liberty. This shift was influenced largely by the economic and societal conditions of the time, in particular, the reliance on slave labor in the South, a stronghold of the Democratic Party. However, as the 19th century progressed, the party's stance on slavery began to change. This was largely due to the emergence of a new political movement within the party, populism. The populist movement, driven by farmers and laborers, sought to prioritize the needs of the common man over the interests of the elite. The Democratic Party began to align itself with this movement, advocating for policies that would benefit the average American. At the same time, the party also developed an opposition to big businesses. The Democrats saw these corporations as a threat to the American worker and believed that they held too much power in society. This opposition to big businesses became a defining characteristic of the party during this period. This era also saw the Democratic Party becoming more active in social issues. They championed the rights of workers, fought for women's suffrage, and took a stand against racial segregation. They also began to advocate for a more active government, one that would take a hands-on approach to solving the nation's problems. These shifts in values and focus were not without controversy, but they were necessary for the party's survival. They allowed the Democratic Party to adapt to the changing social and political landscape of the United States. The party's middle years saw a significant shift in its core values, setting the stage for the Democratic Party we know today. From a party that once supported slavery to one that fought for the rights of the common man, these middle years were a time of change, growth, and evolution for the Democratic Party. The modern era of the Democratic Party, starting in 1932, has seen the most change in the party's core values. This period of transformation began with the Great Depression and the subsequent election of Franklin D. Roosevelt, who brought forth the New Deal coalition. The New Deal era marked a significant shift in the party's policies towards social welfare and labor rights. The Democratic Party began to champion economic equality, advocating for strong labor rights and protections for workers. This commitment to labor rights remains a core value of the party to this day, reflecting its belief in the fundamental dignity and worth of all workers. In the decades following the New Deal, the Democratic Party also became a leading advocate for civil rights. The party played a crucial role in landmark legislation such as the Civil Rights Act of 1964 and the Voting Rights Act of 1965. These acts sought to dismantle racial segregation and discrimination and to ensure that all citizens, regardless of race, had an equal opportunity to participate in the democratic process. The Democratic Party's commitment to civil rights extends beyond racial equality, encompassing a broader vision of social equality. This includes support for gender equality, LGBTQ+ rights, and the rights of people with disabilities. The party's platform consistently emphasizes the need to combat discrimination in all its forms and to create a society in which all individuals are treated with dignity and respect. Another key aspect of the Democratic Party's modern era is its support for a mixed economy. The party recognizes the value of free markets, but also believes in the need for government intervention to address market failures and to ensure economic justice. This includes support for progressive taxation, social safety nets, and regulations to protect consumers and the environment. Over the years, the Democratic Party has faced its share of challenges and controversies. Yet, despite these challenges, the party has remained steadfast in its commitment to its core values. It continues to advocate for social equality, labor rights, civil rights, and a mixed economy, reflecting its belief in the inherent worth and dignity of all individuals. The modern era of the Democratic Party is marked by a commitment to progress and change. This commitment is reflected not only in the party's policies, but also in its efforts to engage with a diverse range of voices and perspectives. The party seeks to be a platform for all Americans, regardless of race, gender, class, or creed. In conclusion, the modern era of the Democratic Party is defined by its commitment to social progress and equality. The party's core values reflect a vision of a society in which all individuals are treated with dignity and respect, and in which economic justice is a fundamental right. Despite the challenges and controversies it has faced, the party remains committed to this vision, working tirelessly to create a more fair and equitable society. The Democratic Party's modern era demonstrates its commitment to social progress and equality. In its current form, the Democratic Party has several key purposes. It's not just a political group vying for power, but a collective that seeks to embody the concerns and aspirations of its constituents. One of the primary purposes is fighting for economic fairness. The Democratic Party believes in an economy that works for everyone, not just the privileged few. This means pushing for policies that promote income equality, affordable health care, and quality education. The party firmly believes that every American, regardless of their background, should have a fair shot at the American dream. The party is also committed to expanding and protecting the rights of all Americans. This means advocating for civil liberties and equal rights, regardless of race, religion, gender, or sexual orientation. The party champions policies that protect voting rights, support immigration reform, and tackle systemic racism. They believe in a United States where everyone is treated equally under the law. And then, there's the commitment to advancing social issues. The Democratic Party is known for its progressive stance on issues like climate change, gun control, and women's rights. The party believes in science and facts, and they fight for policies aimed at preserving the environment for future generations. They also work tirelessly to reduce gun violence and ensure that women have control over their own bodies. But it's important to remember that the Democratic Party, like any political entity, isn't static. It's a living, evolving organism that changes with the times. As societal views shift, so do the party's goals and purposes. While the core principles of economic fairness, civil rights, and social progress remain, the specifics of how they're addressed are always in flux. The Democratic Party continues to evolve, with its purposes reflecting the current needs and concerns of the American people. Let's recap the journey we've taken through the history of the Democratic Party. From its inception in the late 18th century, the Democratic Party has evolved, shaped by the changing tides of time and societal shifts. In its early years, from 1792 to 1828, the Democratic Party emerged from the Democratic Republican Party. which championed states' rights and agrarian interests. It was a time of significant political change, with the party's core values rooted in the belief of limited government and a strict interpretation of the Constitution. As we moved into the middle years, from 1828 to 1932, the party transformed. It became the party of the common man, advocating for broader voting rights and opposing monopolies. The party's core values evolved, with a focus on social equality, economic opportunity, and political reform. Then came the modern era, from 1932 to the present day. The Democratic Party's core values continued to evolve, shaped by the Great Depression, the Civil Rights Movement, and the various social and economic challenges of the times. It became the party known for its commitment to social justice, economic equality, and civil rights. And what about the Democratic Party's current purposes? Today, the party stands for a range of issues, from healthcare and education to climate change and civil rights. It believes in a government that works for everyone, ensuring equal opportunities and justice for all. The Democratic Party's journey is a testament to its resilience and adaptability. Its core values and purposes, from its early beginnings to its current standing, have continually evolved to meet the needs and aspirations of the American people. This evolution is a reflection of the party's commitment to uphold the principles of democracy, equality, and justice. The Democratic Party's core values and purposes, shaped by historical events and societal changes, continue to influence American politics today. This brings us to the end of our journey through the history of the Democratic Party's core values and purposes. We encourage you to express your thoughts, exchange ideas, and spark debates about the topic in the comments section. Our next adventure explores the Democratic Party in even greater detail, so make sure you're subscribed to our channel. You won't want to miss out on our deep dives into political history and current events. Thank you for joining us on this journey. Don't forget to subscribe and stay tuned for more insightful political discussions.